Well, hello. I'm Gord Adnams. I serve on the board of the Summer Institute of Church Music, and I'm catching up with a friend, Louise Elder. Didn't we meet about 10 years ago in Ontario when I was there serving and you were there serving?
That would be correct, Gord, except I think it's more than 10 years ago, but it was in Guelph, Ontario, and you had a men's choir, and I had a community SATV choir, and we joined forces for a concert.
It was a good evening.
It
And
was.
was it subsequent to that? I probably shared with you my involvement with the Summer Institute, or had you heard about it before?
I think I had gone to Summer Institute prior to that. I'm not sure. And I think we re-met up at Summer Institute. I know that for sure.
Yeah. And now I'm back in Alberta. I was just in Ontario for about 9 years. My wife was studying, and now you're in PEI. So
Yes,
what are
we
you
moved
doing
out
there?
here. We moved out several years ago, took a jump out of our box, um, and came here to live. And about 6 months after we got here, um, I interviewed for a church job and have been there ever since. So I've been
Wow.
tenured there for 8 years. It's a United Church in Summerside, and it's been a win-win situation. It's great that I've been able to carry on my music, and it's a lovely place and a great place to meet people. So it's all been really good.
So how many choirs do you have?
And we have
Handbells?
a quote senior choir, handbell choir. There was a contemporary group which is in a bit of a hiatus with people
Hmm.
coming and going and such like. I do some work with the kids as much as I can, but that's been very tricky time wise with them.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
there's enough there.
Great. And organ and piano.
Yes, organ and piano. And I have some lovely people in the choir. We usually have about, well, on the list, there's 22, so upwards to 20 people in the
Wow.
choir, which is really wonderful with 10 men, 10 male voices.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
I'm looking out for sopranos voices, which is an
That's
unusual issue.
interesting.
Mhm.
Well, we have the same problem. I'm not leading. I've retired. Evelyn Grieger is our Minister of
Oh,
Music.
good.
Yeah, and she does a great job, but we too have the 10 men, but on Sunday it was just three sopranos. Ah.
No.
And- yeah, the tenors are making a resurgence.
Yes, we have four tenors, which is very really lovely. But yes,
Yeah.
it's an unusual situation to have. Not having the female voices, it's just totally turned upside down.
Yeah. Yeah. It's curious. So you attended Summer Institute last year online.
Correct.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Um, so I just signed on. The registration was easy, and then I just hooked in each day that the hours were there. It worked well. It's always good to see and hear the people that are there as clinicians, um, and see the people who are there as registrants too, and see some familiar faces and feel like you haven't lost that connection, which is really good because as church musicians we do work in a bit of a silo.
Yes.
So making connections through anything like the Summer Institute is always a joy for me. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it always strikes me that you never have to explain yourself. Like there's
Yeah,
an instant understanding of this is my work, this is my calling, this is what God would have me do. And it's not easy, but it's a joy.
it is. It's really nice to share that and not have to explain anything about why. And the other part about Summer Institute is you have that ecumenical feel, which
Hmm.
is wonderful too, because we need that viewpoint of many views rather
Yeah,
than just our own little world.
yeah, for sure. For sure. So how has the Summer Institute helped you or been what does it mean to you?
Well, I did attend once in full the full body experience when when they had that, which was really great. And then I've had, I think, a couple of summer institutes. Have you done a couple?
Yeah, through
Like
COVID, we did
online?
only online.
Yes. Um, and well, spiritually, it's always very renewing for me. Um, even though we worship every Sunday at church, I think when you go to Summer Institute, you actually feel more like you're worshiping just because you don't have to think so much about the service.
That's
And
true. Yeah.
I always find that those morning worships are always a great start. Um, from an organist point of view, there's always something to learn and get better at or try to apply. And to hear other people playing, it's always good for us to hear that and go, okay, what could I do? Or even, if you wanted to try it out, if you were in person, you can go up there and give it a whirl and have a nice little master class, which is always good. Chorally, there's always a great choral leader. And I know this year with the choirs coming, to be there in person will be so exciting to be in the choir and learn from, I guess it's Patrick Murray, is it? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be very exciting. And we don't very often get to sing with somebody else either. So I would love to be there in person for that. But the choral people have always given me lots of food for thought. And no matter how many times you go to a workshop or another, hear somebody, there's always more to be learned, or
Mm-hmm.
go or remember what you forgot and
Yeah.
start reapplying it.
Or somebody saying the thing you already knew, but in a better way.
That's it's exactly right. Or, ooh, I shouldn't be doing that, or I better try this differently. It's always good.
Yeah.
So from a choral perspective, educationally, I mean, it's always good. There's always things to learn or reconsider or throw out because something is better. And personally, it's always great to make new connections or renew those connections. And online, you
Yeah.
can do it too. You can chat or have a little call after everybody's there. And the connection that I've found that's really been great for me, I think, is um, meeting some of the composers who've written hymns or whatever and making that connection. Because in these days, when you can easily get in touch with them and say, I know you wrote something like this. Can I get that from you? May I use it? Or, that sort of thing. That's
Mm-hmm.
always a joy. And I think since COVID, I've written more composers across Canada than not, to make a
Yeah.
connection, to use their hymns, all of that sort of thing. So, I mean, it's impacted my ministry of music a whole lot,
Yeah.
on every level, I think.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. Sometimes we in the board, we're faced with next year or shaping up this year, and we're isolated. That's all we do is we plan the event. And
Right.
as it unfolds, that adrenaline rush, if you will, or that spiritual energy of being there. And I haven't been able to be there for the last few years, so I'm online all the time too.
Right.
It just reaffirms that this work, I come home, I used to come home and say to my wife, I've met the salt of the earth. This is real people
Yes.
doing the real job in the trenches, and they're committed and they love God. And it's just a wonderful community of fellow servants.
Oh, it is. It is. And I think this year's theme, the sing up, sing out, sing on, I mean, it's always timely to promote congregational song, but I think more
Yeah,
and more we have to get our congregations join. They are the choir.
they are. I always
And
maintain they're the most important people in the church and
absolutely,
most important musicians in the church. The rest of us
yes,
accompany them.
absolutely. And the more I don't know, I feel that I can give them a song that becomes theirs,
Mhm.
not just we just didn't you just didn't hear it. It's going to be yours to take home.
Yeah,
um, that's so important. So because I mean, if you sing it, you pray it, and if you pray it, that's good. And if you do it together, there's a whole other piece of spiritual growth that's amazing in fellowship.
yeah,
So this
yeah.
year's theme will be very exciting. Bruce Harding will bring wonderful music because, of course, with the United Church, we have this new resource coming out. So this will
Yeah,
be
I'm big.
wonderful.
I'm curious about all of that. I mean, this is something which has been emerging over the years, this digital accessibility and all those things. I'm really interested.
Yes, yes. I think
Wow.
it's going to be very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I know the committee that's working on it are, I mean, they're just been workhorses. Huge, huge task.
Oh yeah, it's huge. I mean, every time we choose a hymn, we're putting words in people's mouths.
Correct.
That's a huge responsibility.
When you
You know,
consider that, yes, it is.
in fact, when I'm reading hymn or singing the hymns, I'm trying to understand them at the same time. And I'm thinking, whoa, that's a challenge.
It is. And being a musician and trying to get everybody to learn the hymns and then new anthems in a choir practice, we don't always have time to really delve in like we should. That's
Yeah,
another piece that, sometimes I feel guilty about as a church leader. Well, we hardly
yeah,
have talked about these hymns because we're on a timeline.
yeah, yeah, and how they fit together in the liturgy and reinforce the scripture here or the prayer there, and yeah, all those
Yeah.
things that are we
Yes.
take for granted, but most people don't understand the kind of planning and thought that should go in and usually does go in to a service.
Correct. The greatest compliment to us as a minister and our minister and me when we've been planning is after the service, somebody said, everything connected. It all made
Yes.
sense. And it's like,
Yeah.
good. It's like we
Thank you for
planned
staying
that.
awake. Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for your time, Louise.
Oh,
And
thank
I
you.
guess we'll see you in July.
We will. It's nice chatting with you, Gord. Always has been.
Thank you, and you too. Bye bye now.
Bye bye.